Hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
Fellas, after 4 years of pain, of hell being stuck with the most ironic game ever made, it's time. The totally best kept secret Halo game has been revealed. Halo. Campaign Evolve. No way. That's the name for this game? You're joking, right? Oh. No, it's real. Why not just call it Halo, or Halo 1? Now no one is gonna know which Halo game you mean when you say Halo CE. Like what? Why would you do this? Campaign only, no multiplayer, forge mode, firefight? The future of Halo, ladies and gentlemen. Only half of a Halo game? A remake of a 24-year-old game? Okay. Let's be a bit more fair to the game, alright? Because the Halo positivity crowd is probably out there in full swing spreading the word. Halo is so back, following the chart of the mindset of the typical modern fan of Halo. Maybe we don't start with the negatives just yet, like the most controversial things about the remake. What are some kind things we can say? 9 additional weapons, energy sword, battle rifle, needle rifle. I think it's safe to assume the sentinel beam and the fuel rod cannon will be included as well. Not sure what the last ones are. I'll tell you what, as long as they aren't weapons from Halo Infinite, like the commando rifle or shock weapons, keep that shit away from this game, and it should be fine. Vehicle hijacking, controllable Wraith tank, bumper seat on the Warthog to account for 4-player co-op. Not much to really say, it's to be expected, perfectly fine with it. I'd be surprised if it wasn't in the remake. 3 new bonus prequel missions with Sergeant Johnson? Huh. It wasn't confirmed if it would be the same actor. It's most likely a different voice actor. I would be shocked, but also happy if they hired the guy Inferno Plus hired to impersonate Sergeant Johnson whenever he made the Cursed Halo mod. Beautiful work of art that mod was. They did a pretty convincing job.
Ineffective weapons? How about my boot up your ass, Buck? How does that sound?
This is probably the thing I'm interested in the most. Prequel missions before the events of Halo Combat Evolved makes me wonder if we're gonna get to see the fall of Reach, specifically the mission where Master Chief and Blue Team when they go to Gamma Station. There are some very important things that happen prior to the first mission of Halo CE. I hope this is what they're doing. I would be very unhappy if there were some OC missions made worse, because what freaking weirdo remakes Halo 1 and doesn't think about adding book lore from the original book series? New missions, I would say, should be expected. I expect this game to have more stuff in it, especially if it's a freaking campaign-only game. We'll talk more about that later. If anything, I was hoping for more missions that account for the events in the Flood book. I feel like we might not be getting that if it's only 3 new missions that are prequels to Halo CE. That would be pretty silly. What? Better waypoints? More skulls? More modifiers? That's fine. Pretty much a necessity because, I mean, again, campaign only. They're adding some legacy Halo content to the game. They did say a pure flood form is gonna be in it, which wasn't in the original Halo CE. Sure, sounds fine to me. There's overhauled cutscenes. Obviously, I mean, it would be weird if there weren't. They got Steve Downes and Jen Taylor re-recording lines as well as new ones. This is a good thing because I was worried with all the rumors about AI that they might get replaced. It's not like it was out of the question when Steve Downes is getting pretty old. It's still not out of the question when Microsoft has made a push for the use of AI. But here they are, still getting work. It warms my cold, apathetic heart. Hopefully, whatever these new lines aren't like awkward or unnecessary for the story. I'm looking through my notes here. Is that it for the positives? Can I start talking trash? Oh, wait, hold on. It's going to launch on PlayStation 5 as well. Ah, yes. Microsoft has finally given up on pleasing the Halo fanbase and is now hoping to replace them with the PS5 fanbase. Hell yeah. I'm mostly joking. Alright, I'm a huge supporter of crossplay. I dislike exclusivity a lot in the video game industry, so this should be a good thing. Just like 2-player couch co-op for consoles, which is confirmed. Yay. Hopefully, this time it's not a lie like before. And look, I don't mean to sound ungrateful. I find it difficult to be that excited for something that should just be a standard. It's like if they announced, we will have online co-op at launch, and then the crowd cheers because Halo Infinite didn't have online co-op at launch. I mean, like, thanks. But I'm not cheering for that shit. Are you kidding me? Only 2-player couch co-op on consoles? I mean, I guess it's something, but no split screen for PC? I'm a PC player. I legit wanted to play split screen with my little brother. You know, maybe that's a good segue. Let's talk about the problems with this reveal. What to talk about first? Nah, no, that discussion is too toxic to be brought up this early, unfortunately. Let's maybe start with the graphics, the visuals of the game. Initially, I thought it looked fine, but after a few more minutes into that demo, I couldn't help but start losing interest. I started to feel like I was just watching the same old game, but just in UE5 with Sprint slapped on top of it. Like it's one of those fan-made projects that you've probably seen done for other games. This is when those thoughts of, man, maybe they shouldn't remake this game started creeping in more aggressively. I mean, it doesn't help that I never wanted this to happen to begin with, but we'll talk about that later. There's details I appreciate, effects from the jackal shields, the glowing green lights on the assault rifle. I like that they are kind of bringing back the look of the original Warthog. You can argue that the graphics are technically better. There's more detail. But when I digest the presentation of that demo, taking it all in, it feels like something was lost. Like they dropped the idea of having an art style in favor of tech demo hyper-realistic graphics. Why is almost everything so freaking shiny? The weapons, the Forerunner structures? Okay, because in the original, the Forerunner structures were a bit older looking. They had like this monolithic look to them. But now seeing these structures look so polished, shiny, new, like as if the fucking Forerunners weren't gone for like 10,000 years or something. There better be a flashlight, by the way. I don't know why they made the interiors and other parts of the game so freaking dark. It wasn't that dark in the original. I don't like how Halo Infinite like the game looks. The animations look like they mostly came straight out of that game. The assault rifle, which, not a fan of the sound design, the HUD for it, looks like a skin from Halo Infinite. Kind of missing that assault rifle slap at the end of the reload from the original. And come on, man, 32 rounds instead of 60? Maybe this is to account for weapon balance. There's probably an SMG that has 60 rounds. But I think a lot of us, or I guess I'll speak for myself, because I guess I'm the only one who was interested in seeing the 60-round assault rifle come back, not 32 rounds. It's not even 36 either. The plasma pistol is okay. Plasma rifle minus the shininess is fine. Minus the scuffed reload for the Magnum, I guess it's fine. At least it kind of resembles the original Magnum. Still has the zoom, and hopefully it's still powerful. But even then, there's something that just seems so soulless about it, especially when it looks like it's made out of the same chrome-like material they made all the Forerunner buildings out of. This isn't made by an AI, is it? If I asked AI to give me Halo CE remade, this comes to mind. Why the hell is there a weapon from Halo Infinite in this game? This Needler design is Halo Infinite's Needler design. It's a weapon model set years ahead of Halo's timeline. What's it doing here as like the default model? It's not a bad looking model, but I wish they kept it traditional and just remade the original. It feels out of place. It feels wrong. I'm pretty sure the elites are close to that of the ones in Halo Infinite as well. The HUD is very reminiscent of Halo Infinite's HUD. Why was the motion tracker on the top right, and why is the ammo counter on the bottom right by default? Thank God they at least allow you to switch it back to normal, but just weird that it was there by default. But man, whose idea was it to feature Halo Infinite in the remake of Halo CE? I don't hate the idea of reusing assets or just remaking the same assets to put them in a different engine, but I came here to not be reminded of that trash game. Having my brain think, this looks like Halo Infinite, a game that was part of the 343 era of Halo that I thought we were stepping away from, while trying to immerse myself in a remake about the very first Halo game, a new game, a game I really want to like. That's a negative. You can claim what I've been saying are nitpicks, but dude, would you argue this is still within the realms of nitpicking if I was being more positive about it? It's like if you told me, you can see the Master Chief's legs again and that's cool, and I told you, that doesn't matter, you're being overly generous. I wouldn't say that because I actually would agree it's nice to have Chief's legs back again. It wasn't in Halo Infinite, but I'm just giving you an example that these sorts of things matter for a better experience. It tells you how much care was put into the game. It may not be a deal breaker, but it matters. Sure, I won't make a huge fuss about Cortana being blue instead of purple, but I would have liked her to be purple like in the original. I'm judging that she is going to be blue because of Halo Waypoint. I can't believe I'm saying this, but even in Halo Infinite's campaign, the cutscene where they show us her first introduction to Master Chief, she was purple. That's hilarious. But you know what? At least she doesn't have any clothes on. Cortana wearing clothes just doesn't feel right, is all I'm trying to say. Overall, not a huge fan of the look. It's not the worst UE5 fan-made project I've seen. Sure hope it doesn't run like trash. It's not like UE5 has a growing reputation for being poorly optimized. But almost everything I didn't mention, I guess I'm okay with. I will give them some credit for at least showing something, showing gameplay, but this game doesn't look close to finished. Surely, any problems will be addressed before this game releases in 2026. Alright, that's one controversial topic off the list. What's next? You know, I just figured with the alleged 25 years of feedback,
your introduction into this huge franchise we've been building for the past 25 years.
I just thought it was obvious that you'd probably want to avoid doing anything too controversial, but I guess not. Especially if this is their first game.
Halo Campaign Evolved is the next project coming out of Halo Studios.
Excuse me? Next project? Isn't this your first project? I thought this was a new studio. Anyways, funny enough, they know and acknowledge the addition of Sprint is a touchy subject.
But main thing I want to just reiterate, since it's such a loved topic across the community, is there is an option to disable it if you don't want it. If you don't want it in your game, you don't have to have it. So it's all about just having choice.
Huh. Okay. So, now we got a few more things to talk about, but we'll talk about the option to turn it off in a bit and what it means. Firstly, I should probably make it clear where I stand with Sprint. I never liked it. I liked Halo a lot more when it was a run and gun type shooter game. I like it a lot less as a run or gun type shooter game. Not to say I can't handle it, I'm fine with it in other games. I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 6 and Space Marine 2 recently. It's fine in those games. It's just not the way I want to play Halo. After all, sprinting was never added in good faith or to evolve Halo for the better when 343 became the stewards of Halo. It was part of an attempt to bastardize Halo back during the days of Halo 4. Microsoft and 343 wanted to appeal to COD, which was selling more copies at the time apparently.
Halo 4's loadout system frequently and sort of appropriately gets compared to other FPS games, including Call of Duty and others, and that's a reasonable sort of comparison.
When it comes to sprint, they just slowed down your movement and added a sprint button. The maps had to be unnecessarily bigger. Bullet magnetism, aim assist had to be adjusted. You couldn't play the game like a Halo game where you could move at top speed in any direction using any tools you had on you in that moment. There was no point for it to exist, and it made Halo play a lot worse. It became a cancer for this IP. Even their last game was made with the intention of chasing the broader competitive audience at the detriment of a more casual party game experience.
We're a very competitive game. That's our DNA. That's who we are, right? You go back all the way to the very first Halo, right? Multiplayer. I mean, it is a highly competitive game.
It's crazy to hear that clip again and realize we're here talking about a remake for the first Halo game, FYI. I'm just giving a bit of context as to why it's a matter of some debate without getting too much into this 13-year-long battle, and I just think the act of adding sprint to Halo CE's remake is so lame and weird. I'm probably gonna regret saying this. If you want to do that shit in Halo 7, you still want to chase after that Fortnite audience, sure, go for it. But for a remake of the first Halo game, where it started off as a strafe arena shooter party game,
I wanted to make a party game with shooter mechanics. I wanted to make a game that Nintendo could ship, but it was using shooter mechanics. It wasn't using goofball, Mario mechanics or Zelda mechanics, whatever.
Maybe at least try just this once and make a new game without sprint. If you add new weapons, vehicle hijacking, new missions, new story additions, dual wielding, Halo 3 equipment, it's already a different game. Why does sprint need to be added into the equation to equal a different experience? It's not necessary, and being given the option to turn it off
Good news is that'll also be something you can disable if you want to.
almost feels like an admission that it doesn't need to be here. So, let's talk more about the option to turn it off now. Is the game balanced for people who have it disabled? It's nice that I can disable it and hopefully play this game like a traditional Halo game. I appreciate the attempt, but am I going to be at a disadvantage? How is the flood gonna work with sprint in mind? If I'm running my ass through the library, for example, am I going to be at a disadvantage with sprint turned off versus someone who has it enabled to the point where I feel heavily incentivized to turn it back on? How are the maps going to feel to account for sprinting and no sprinting? I already heard they had to make the maps bigger to account for 4-player co-op.
For different co-op counts, we will make some of the spaces larger. We also want to make sure we're authentic to the encounters themselves, so
I don't have hope that it's going to be a balanced experience with sprint turned off. I almost want to put on my conspiracy theory hat and wonder if this is a ploy to hypnotize people, to get the PS5 audience, and to further convince the 343 fans to assume that Halo is it's too old, it's too slow, it needs sprint.
Why don't you, there you go, I was going to say, why don't you speed things up here a little bit, Unishack? So some people just really don't want sprint in their Halo experience, so
maybe it's just me, but there are some venom in those words, and I think it's kind of funny. Now, even in the ideal situation, it's perfectly balanced. You turn it off, and your movement is sped up. Basically, just like the Bungie Halo games, the problem is solved, right? old Bungie fans can finally shut up. Finally, no one wants to hear these 40-year-old boomers complain. But wait, follow-up question. Why even have sprint in the game if the playstyles are balanced? You can't slide from what I could tell. That was the only justification for having sprint in Halo Infinite, and this isn't me defending Halo Infinite, nor is this me advocating for sliding. I don't like sprint in that game either, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm just pointing out the main reason why more people than usual were accepting of it. You could slide, so it didn't feel completely arbitrary. If it's just sprinting, then we're back to Halo 4 and 5 levels of arbitrary. It's pointless. What's the reason? For the game to appear modern? To appeal to the modern audience? This is what you call evolving Halo? Okay, sure. Just imagine a timeline where sprint wasn't in this remake at all. Imagine the reception from both sides. Who would complain? Nobody. Well, maybe the sad remaining player base of Halo Infinite. If you tell me Halo needs sprint baked into every player's movement in order to evolve, I have to disagree. That sounds like a skill issue on the part of the people developing the game, if I'm being honest, ignoring that Bungie managed to evolve every single mainline Halo game without it. Even when they made Reach, they knew how it would break Halo's gameplay loop if everyone could use it, so they made it an armor ability and put it side by side with other abilities that were equal if not more broken for multiplayer. Sprint was powerful enough to be considered an armor ability. That's an important thing to understand. But whatever, there's just no nuances, no arguments whatsoever. It's only people in their 40s who can't handle pressing one button to go faster. That's all it is. Halo needs to get with the times. It needs to start being like every other first-person shooter game.
Ironic.
I'd be careful with that. This mentality, it has to be like every other thing to evolve, certainly hasn't put Halo in the position it's in now. Anyway, I don't like sprint. I'll give some credit for allowing me to turn it off. Strange that dual wielding or equipment wasn't considered at all before sprint. What a bothersome mechanic it is to where I'm sitting here wondering if the end product will be imbalanced or if it will be balanced to where sprint is completely unnecessary and just proves that it doesn't need to be in the game. It's lame to even have sprint as a feature, and it's weird that they know it's controversial but still keep it while having the option to turn it off.
If you don't want it in your game, you don't have to have it. So it's all about just having choice.
Oh, 343, why make things so complicated for yourselves?
Why don't you, there you go, I was going to say, why don't you speed things up here a little bit, Unishack? So.
All right, second controversial topic down. Who's next? Ah, yes, the multiplayer.
Who?
Oh, right. What multiplayer? Fucking hell. Let's say the campaign is okay. I don't imagine there is going to be so much replayability, even if they are adding a lot of skulls. I'm not expecting a cosmetic progression system or anything like that. I could be wrong, we'll see, but it is a campaign-only game. Why? Where is my multiplayer? Cube, you idiot, it's right there. So, as I was saying, no multiplayer? I mean, are there genuinely people out there excited or coping about this? You would actually be fine paying for this. If it's less than $60, then maybe there's some leeway I could give. But assuming it's a fully priced AAA game, which is the safe assumption to make, would you actually pay AAA price for this shit? No multiplayer? No forge mode? Not even firefight? Firefight or some other PvE mode should have at least been considered. I'm not against a PvE Halo game. That's something I would actually like to see, but we aren't even getting that realistically. I don't give a shit what you tell me. Definitely don't want to hear any excuse from 343 either. There's only one reason as far as I'm concerned to why it's campaign only. Something that will be ignored as a possibility by the people defending this choice. It's to justify you having to play whatever free-to-play multiplayer live service slop they have on the way for your Halo multiplayer experience that some people have all of a sudden convinced themselves no one wants. No one wanted multiplayer? In a remake for the very first Halo game? No one cares about this?
I've got a fucking headache.
I really hope I'm wrong. I don't want another Halo Infinite situation, a separate campaign, sold at AAA price that isn't worth that amount of money. Free-to-play multiplayer with cat ears and overpriced shop bundles. Honestly, they might just charge you AAA price for just the multiplayer and still have the balls to do like an in-game shop, battle passes with paid XP boosts, etc. What else are you supposed to say other than, well, it is what it is? It's why I don't understand anyone on the Halo is so back hype train currently. Just to reiterate, even if the campaign is fine, we're getting half of a Halo game that they'll definitely charge you for $70, $80. No multiplayer game yet. While Microsoft is in the process of raising the prices for nearly everything they own, you've lost your mind if you think it's time to start licking the boots of 343 and Microsoft already. I'd urge people to at least be a bit more respectful to themselves. You deserve much better than this. Be a bit more skeptical, but I mean, I guess some people just can't help themselves. But feel excited for this, I guess. I'm not happy with this choice. If it's reasonably priced, maybe it'll be okay. Depends on what else they have to show whenever it's time to talk about Halo Campaign Evolved again. I imagine we're going to hear about this again during the next Xbox showcase. But I'm not done. I have one final thing to mention. I have tried to be as fair as possible towards this game, believe it or not. However, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't somewhat biased against the idea, the practice of remaking Halo CE. Regardless of how this project turns out, this is not the direction I wanted Halo to go in to begin with. I don't think this will do much to restore my faith in Halo's future. This shit right here, nostalgia, is working overtime. If I trusted the studio behind making these games, perhaps I would think a bit differently. I'm not against remakes. After all, I'm a fan of Dead Space 1, RE2, and even RE4 despite some issues I take with that game. But currently, under 343 and Microsoft's Iron Fist, I don't want to see them remake Bungie's Halo. That is what is going to happen. I don't believe this game will do poorly in sales. I'm sure it will be successful enough depending on how it's priced. I mean, with the PS5 audience in the mix, who have no idea about what Halo has been through, a lot of these issues and predictions I made will mean nothing to them. It's understandable, unless a lot of PlayStation fans are still in this brain-rotted console war mindset and don't want to touch Halo because that is the enemy's video game. So it can only work in the favor of 343, unfortunately. Honestly, this game kind of feels like the PlayStation fanbase is their target audience. I do think it will make enough money to where it will justify 343 and Microsoft to do this for the rest of Bungie's Halo. They're basically taking the modern Disney approach, remake everything, let nostalgia do all the work to generate the hype for the game, because they're creatively bankrupt and unwilling to do something that would garner more hope for the Halo IP, like remaking 343's Halo. Remaking Halo 4, you rebranded from 343 to Halo Studios. Is this not you acknowledging the name 343 is tainted? I wonder why. Just remake 343's Halo, telling an actual good story for once in a video game about Halo. Make games about the Arbiter during the aftermath of the Human Covenant War. Games about Spartans like Jerome, or even the surviving Spartan 3s. Another Halo ODST game. You could even make games prior to the fall of Reach. There are many different things you can do. I'm tired of hearing that there's nothing that can be done. Like 343 has been this one-trick pony with its new Halo games. Everything always has to be about Master Chief. Couldn't let the poor fucker sleep for longer than 4 years before waking him up to parade him around in every new game they made because they can't think of anything else. I used to be excited seeing Master Chief making an appearance in a new Halo game. Now, I'm bored. It's pretty impressive you did that, but for the wrong reasons. And here we are. A bright new future for Halo, and we went backwards. to a game that is gonna be 25 years old in 2026. Perhaps the most corporate choice a company who wants to milk Halo for all it's worth wants. But it is what it is. Sure, I guess I'll check out Halo Campaign Evolved to tell people if it's worth buying or not, but I've said my piece. All I can say is that I hope I'm wrong about my predictions and takes about modern Halo. I mean, I've been begging studios like 343 Industries to prove me wrong and make a good Halo game for the past 13 years. It's not like I want to sit here and talk negatively about Halo, even if it's the only enjoyment I can get out of it in these difficult times. I want Halo to be good, respected. I want to actually feel something besides emptiness when I see new Halo content in front of me. We're just not there yet. I don't know when we'll be at that point. Worst case scenario, it all sucks. We move on to play better video games. You know, like, what's another decade of Halo getting fucked in the ass? Not even respectfully. Am I right?